What if one of Spider-Man's deadliest enemies wasn't a symbiote or a mad scientist with octopus arms or pumpkin bombs, but a man who clawed his way up from the streets and never stopped hitting back? Today we're breaking down Tombstone, his comic book origins, powers, key storylines, and why he's becoming one of the most important street-level villains in Marvel right now. And we will also connect everything to Spider-Man Brand New Day and his appearance in Your Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man. So by the end of this video, you will know exactly who Tombstone is and why he matters. Hey everyone, welcome back to the Nerds of the Multiverse channel. Tombstone's real name is Lonnie Lincoln, sometimes called Alonzo Thompson Lincoln, and he first appeared in Web of Spider-Man number 36 in 1988. Lonnie was born with albinism, giving him a pale white skin and eerie appearance. As a kid, he was bullied constantly. But unlike Peter Parker, Lonnie didn't respond by becoming a hero. Instead, he learned one thing very early: fear works. Lonnie was tall, strong, and intimidating even before gaining powers, and he leaned into that reputation, becoming a gang enforcer and eventually earning the nickname Tombstone, because when he showed up, people did not walk away. And this is important. Tombstone is not a tragic accident like most Spider-Man villains. He chose this life, and he got very good at it. Tombstone operates in a very specific lane of the Marvel Universe. He's not trying to conquer the world. He's trying to own the streets. And he becomes a high-ranking crime boss, often working with or against figures like Kingpin and Hammerhead. And sometimes he's an enforcer, but other times he's running the operation himself. And one of his most important relationships is with Robbie Robertson from the Daily Bugle. They grew up together. Robbie escaped the streets, and Lonnie became the streets. And that contrast gives Tombstone a personal connection to Spider-Man's world that most villains don't have. Later, Tombstone's legacy continues through his daughter, Janice Lincoln, who becomes the villain, the Beetle, proving that crime-like power is inherited. Tombstone is terrifying because he's simple and effective. His abilities include superhuman strength, near invulnerable skin, bullets literally bounce off of him, enhanced durability and stamina, skilled hand-to-hand combat, and a very high pain tolerance. He doesn't rely on gadgets or tech. He walks straight through gunfire, and he keeps swinging. And these are his weaknesses. He's still a street-level villain. Smarter heroes can outmaneuver him. And his criminal ambition constantly puts a target on his back. But in a straight fight, Tombstone is one of the few villains who can physically overpower Spider-Man. Some of Tombstone's most important comic arcs include his rise through organized crime in New York City, multiple brutal clashes with Spider-Man, feuds with Daredevil over control over the streets, his role in villain teams like the Sinister 12, and his complicated father-daughter dynamic with Janice Lincoln. Tombstone works best when Marvel leans into mob politics, betrayals, and power struggles, not world-ending threats. He's the villain you fear because he's realistic. If you are interested in finding out more about Tombstone and you want to read about him, here are some key comic issues. Here is his origin, The Web of Spider-Man number 36 from 1988. This is Tombstone's first appearance, an introduction as a mob enforcer and early Spider-Man foe. This issue starts the character's classic arc in the Marvel Universe. You can also read Peter Parker, the Spectacular Spider-Man, number 137 through 150, a major early storyline where Tombstone's feud with Robbie Robertson is central, showing his roots in crime and personal history with Peter Parker's friends. Then, for a more classic Spider-Man run involving Tombstone, you can read Spider-Man, Tombstone Collected Edition, or trade paperback. It's a trade paperback that collects important early stories from Spectacular Spider-Man and related issues focused on Tombstone's rise and conflicts with Spider-Man and other characters. For modern appearances, there's The Amazing Spider-Man from 2022 to 2025, number 1 all the way on. And it's a modern Spider-Man run where Tombstone is a major crime boss antagonist and a central figure in street-level conflict against Peter Parker. This is good for seeing how Marvel uses him today. Notable recent issues including Amazing Spider-Man number 56 through 59, where Tombstone is on trial and directly clashing with Spider-Man. For some cool storylines and events featuring Tombstone, you can read Marvel Knights Spider-Man number 10, where Tombstone appears as part of the Sinister 12, highlighting his role among bigger villains that are plotting against Spider-Man. You can also read Deadpool Suicide Kings. It features Tombstone's interacting with Deadpool and brings a more chaotic tone to his crimes. Also, you can read Power Man and Iron Fist from 2016 to 2017. Tombstone shows up in this street-level series, giving a taste of his involvement beyond Spidey's corner of the Marvel Universe. And also some supporting and related appearances. He is in Daredevil 292. This is one of Tombstone's clashes with another major street-level hero, Matt Murdock's Daredevil. You also have Spider-Man's Tangled Web. There's various issues of this, and this is an anthology series with a gritty character-focused story, or two involving Tombstone's criminal underworld. And finally, you can read Superior Foes of Spider-Man. This is not a Tombstone-focused book, but his daughter Janice Lincoln, the Beetle, plays a big role and adds depth to his personal life and legacy. Now let's talk about the MCU. In Spider-Man Brand New Day, Peter Parker is back to being a street-level hero. No Avengers, no public identity, no safety net. And that's exactly where Tombstone thrives. Marvel has officially confirmed the casting for Tombstone in Spider-Man Brand New Day, and he will be played by Marvin Jones III, who also voiced him in Into the Spider-Verse. Tombstone will appear as a major criminal power player, not necessarily the main villain, but a long-term threat in this film. It will be a grounded and brutal portrayal, with a focus on crime families and street-level danger, and he's a villain who does not need CGI armies to be scary. There's been several pieces of speculation that have come out too, that the Punisher and Tombstone are going to have a massive feud in this movie, setting up John Bernthal's Frank Castle versus Marvin Jones III's Tombstone. Also, there was some leaked concept art that came out the other day, and it mirrors exactly the cover of Spider-Man Tombstone Volume 1 trade paperback. And if this is in this film, it looks like Spider-Man definitely has his work cut out for him. Tombstone fits perfectly in this new era of Spider-Man storytelling. Marvel is also exploring Tombstone's earliest days in Your Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man on Disney+. And this version reimagines Lonnie Lincoln as a high school football star and an acquaintance of Peter Parker, someone who starts out with real potential. But over time, he's drawn into gang life and eventually gains powers, showing us the origin of Tombstone, not the finished monster. This series does something smart. It shows that Tombstone could have gone another way, but didn't, which makes his future even darker. Tombstone's influence does not stop at Marvel Comics or the MCU. He's also become a fan-favorite powerhouse in the modern Spider-Man media. He was in Insomniac's Spider-Man games. In Marvel Spider-Man, Tombstone is portrayed as one of the most physically imposing enemies that Spider-Man faces. Here, he's a full-fledged crime boss running dangerous operations around New York, and his boss fight is one of the most memorable in the game. Why? Because it strips Spider-Man down to survival. Tombstone is immune to most conventional attacks. He hits harder than nearly any street-level enemy, and the fight emphasizes endurance, strategy, and raw power. It reinforces what makes Tombstone terrifying. You can't outsmart him easily. You have to survive him. And that presence continues into Marvel's Spider-Man Miles Morales, where Tombstone's criminal footprint is still felt across the city, helping establish the ongoing power struggle in New York's underworld. Insomniac understands the character perfectly. Tombstone is not flashy. He's a wall you have to break through. Tombstone also appears in Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse, where he serves as one of the Kingpin's top enforcers. This version leans fully into his comic roots. Massive frame, near invulnerability, silent but intimidating. And he doesn't need a lot of dialogue, because visually, he already tells you everything. In a movie packed with multiversal spider people, Tombstone stands out by grounding the danger. He represents the physical brutality of Spider-Man's world, even when reality itself is breaking apart. Across animation, games, comics, and now the MCU, Tombstone is consistently portrayed the same way. A brick wall of a villain. A crime boss who earns his power, and a threat that does not rely on spectacle. That consistency is why audiences instantly recognize him, even if they don't know his name yet. And that's why he's perfectly positioned for the next era of Spider-Man storytelling. Tombstone represents something Spider-Man stories need: grounded danger, moral contrast, consequences that don't reset. He's not flashy, he's not funny, he's inevitable. And now, when you see him show up, you'll know exactly who you are dealing with. Are you excited for Tombstone showing up in Spider-Man Brand New Day? Comment down below. With all that being said, that is all I have for today's video. If you did enjoy it and you learned more about who Tombstone is, please leave a like. And if you want to see more Marvel content such as news, rankings, theories, lore videos, gaming videos, breakdowns, and more, make sure you hit the subscribe button and turn on post notifications so you never miss an upload. I am also on social media. I am on TikTok at Nerds of the Multiverse, on Instagram at The Nerds of the Multiverse, and on X at Nerds of the Mult 1. And also, if you've not already subscribed to the Nerd Bros Podcast YouTube channel, make sure you do so. It's a podcast between myself and the Nerds of Ren, and we talk Marvel, Star Wars, and DC, and we have new episodes coming out every Tuesday night, and you do not want to miss them. But with all that being said, I love you 3000, and I will see you in the next video.